Live from DSN Studios. Welcome to the Week 9 edition of the DougLESS Report. I'm your host, Bobby Moravia, and to my left, the captain of the first place Rockford Peaches. And Norman, congratulations on that unbelievable, unexpected end of the season in the standing.
Yes, thank you. The fans of Rockford were expecting it. We were, clocking the other games, and we knew that if we won 2 games, we would have to bye with either the 1 seed or the 2 seed. We had a lot of tiebreakers going our way, fortunately, and the other team in a great position was Skinner. They only needed 1 game to clinch a bye. No matter what the Royals did, and no matter what Magical Mystery did, we were the 2 teams that with 10 would get the bye. Whether there was a 3-way tie or a 4-way tie. Ended up there was a 3-way tie. The big surprise was the Royals dropping a game to the Turtles, and it is what it is. We ended up at 10-6, just like 2 other teams, but we got the 1 seed. And if the season ended a week ago, there would have been a different team in first.
Right.
2 weeks ago, a different team in first. Every week the standings were different. So really an amazing season.
Well, you also had the fortune of playing probably the coldest team in the league right now. It's fair to say probably the worst team in the league. And just so many problems on that team. With the pitching situation from day one. The defense has really gone out the door, and so there's a lot of problems. I mean, there were 7-4 one time, but on a 5-game losing streak now after the rough Sunday.
A 5-game losing streak and 5 games played in 8 days. So just so quickly, they went from 7-4 to 7-9. They had a doubleheader, then they had the game on Friday, and then another doubleheader. In 8 days, they went from 7-4, which at the time was good enough for second place and positioning themselves for the bye, to 7-9, where they are counting their blessings that they're even alive for a playing game.
Yeah.
And that only happened because they got a sweep one way or the other from the Whiplash versus Angels series.
Yeah.
So they are really lucky to be alive right now. They're 7-9. Hard to believe that a 7-4 team could be on the brink of elimination.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So Mavor has another week to get that elusive playoff appearance. So we'll see another chance against an Angel team that's also struggling.
Now the surprise was Mavora took the ball in game 1, Bobby.
Yeah, I know a lot of the media saw him warming up on the sidelines. I didn't know if that was sort of like a gimmick, maybe try to catch the team, the Peaches off guard.
But mind games, perhaps,
yeah.
Right. But no, sure enough, he was there early. He was pitching BP like he does all the time, and as his team came trickling in, they were not exactly earlier on time. They came trickling in, as soon as the game was about to begin. We looked up, we saw Mavora on the mound warming up to begin the game. So I was surprised at that because I know he hasn't pitched in, I'd say, over a month in the games or whatever it was, maybe since before the Shavuot break. He pitched game 1. We put up a 2 spot right away. They tied the game. And then we erupted for 5 runs in the second inning to go up 7-2. The game got a little dicey in the top of the 6th. They were batting, and the score was suddenly 7-4 by way of a Mark Nardea double. Now, if you look up in the box scores, Mark Nardea had himself a decent year at the plate this year. I heard he struggled a little bit at the glove, but he was very, very strong at the plate this year. They got it to 7-4, Bobby, with 2 outs and a man on second, base hit to center field, which is about to make it 7-5. Only problem is Jack Abadi fields the ball. He sees the guy rounding third. He guns. He fires home to his father, Chucky Abadi. Chucky puts the tag and holds the ball despite the contact at the plate.
Who was running by any chance?
I believe it was Mark Nardea.
Oh, I'm just curious, because they're going Jack Abadi's on, you got that major consequence.
Yes, now there were 2 outs and it was like a base hit to center. It was definitely Jack looked at him rounding third. Yeah. He had the ball, so a good throw was going to nail him, and he didn't even throw it as hard as he could. He just threw it very accurately, right. and he gunned it there, but it wasn't like a rushed throw.
Yeah, right.
He had time, and he threw a strike. I'm telling you, on a fly, right here. Chucky put the tag down, but he took the collision, that kept it at 7-4. And then we went off for 5 more runs in the next half inning to make it 12-4. But if that play's not made, it's 7-5, and there's a man on second, and anything can happen. So that was the big play in that game. Jacob Jamal, 3 for 3. The bottom of our order was unbelievable. Once again, the bottom of the order for Peaches have been heating up lately. So what everyone was saying at the beginning of the year that Rockford only has 2 hitters, it was not true, as we had 35 or 36 base runners in the doubleheader, including over 30 base hits. So that was game 1. Game 2, Celine got the ball, and Rockford jumped on him. Joseph Jamal led off the game with a triple, and believe it or not, did not score.
I think underrated players in the league.
Yeah, it's funny.
He had a reputation as old D, bad, but he's become really a great player. And I see him like in the same type of players, like Jackie Aber and that type of stuff.
I'm telling you, he has a spark. He's very clutch. He's good with men on, but he knows how to get things going. It all started on the Expos 2 years ago. He was only batting 1 game, and he was batting 10 when in that game that he was batting. He was a limited time player. We picked him up in the 10th round or whatever it was, and he proved himself. He ended up moving up in the lineup, and he was batting 2. And then when we needed a little bit of a spark, I said, you know what, you're going to be leading off. And he jumped at that role, and he only got better and better.
But he's really a great defensive outfielder also.
He's the best right fielder in the league for sure, in my opinion.
Was he on the eligible bachelor franchise?
He was not. He was not in the league during the eligible bachelor days. No. He was not on that franchise. Carlos was a proud member of the eligible bachelor.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes.
He was their shortstop, and he's actually proud of it. I don't know why. Game 2, we jumped out on.
Got married after that.
I guess so. You're right. By the way, we have to look it up. What year that was? He may have been married while on the eligible bachelors. Yeah. I don't know what type of message.
I'll tell you what year it was. It was 2009. So
yeah, he was definitely married in 09, 100%.
So, but we got to look it up to see how many bachelors are married now. That's
right.
Really interesting.
Right. Well,
actually, I ran into the captain of the eligible bachelors.
Who was that?
Last night, and he's not married with a kid, Elliot Simone.
He was the captain.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the one who came up with really the idea to come up with this team of
bring your own team.
Yeah. And but definitely their one win actually was against your organization, Maurice Haber. Seems to I think a lot of people get up to face Maurice Haber.
Well, I know the Turtles definitely got up to face Maurice Haber this week.
So
amazing.
Yeah. So you wiped out who cares, and that was easy pickings for you guys, and now they're in a amazingly enough still alive with a 5-game losing streak. So now by the way, we failed to mention that the games this week were relocated due to the weather to Deal School, and a lot of the veterans in the league brings back a lot of memories of Deal School.
100%. The roots of the league. The roots of the league of Easter, yes.
RBJ was reminiscing about the time he got hit off with Chubby on the other Deal School. So he was,
the other Deal School, which was basically where left field is now, the front field. Right. That's where they used to play the game, if I recall correctly.
Now the clinches were in that bushes.
Oh my God. And those train tracks. But I remember the crowd. That's the one thing that jumps out at me is I remember in those days when my father was playing, all the amount of beach chairs that lined up on Sunday. And we were talking off camera, that they used to be, when the league got big enough, there were some games in the morning, some games in the afternoon. Really awesome.
Sessions and regular season games lined up. I mean, it was, everybody came. So
I would love if we did maybe next year, one game of the week is game of the week that you do on Sunday afternoon. It's scheduled from before the year, so you know what day it is.
That's a good idea, actually.
And you do a 4 p.m. or a 5 p.m. start, double header, and each team gets to play an afternoon game, once or twice a year. It'd be cool.
That's a great idea, actually. Not a bad idea.
Thank you.
You remember a few years ago we tried a night game, which was good, but it's kind of hard to get everybody here at night. But Sunday's a good idea. So now the Turtles were once again nothing to play for, but the thought of doing some damage to Maurice Haber's playoff chances definitely got them excited. 8 shots in early in the second.
Now, Eddie Richley was missing for this game. It was his grandmother's Arayat, and if you recall, a year ago, his grandmother passed away during the playoff game of the Indians versus Jeffrey Saka. So he left in the middle of the game, and we inserted Mark Mardea into the 3 spot for Eddie Richley at the time. And we lost an epic game, 1-0 in extra innings. That was basically the Tribe in a nutshell. The idea of 1-0. But yes, so Eddie Richley was missing game 1 for the Turtles, but the Turtles showed up like we knew they would. You talk about a team that's 4-12 landed. Wow, that's a bad record, man. 4-12, but they're a good team. I mean, I saw Maurice on Friday afternoon watching Magical Mystery versus who cares, the extra game, the makeup game, and he told me, "I can't believe you lost to the Turtles," almost mocking me that my team lost to the Turtles, and I told him they're good, and you'll see that they're good on Sunday because they're going to beat you.
Yeah, he probably didn't believe it, but we talked about it. There's no doubt in my mind that one of the best 4-12 teams I've ever seen. I mean, we thought they were, championship caliber team, and really they had a few walk-off losses. I mean, they were, a few plays away from being 8-8, right in the mix with everybody else. So, it's those are the breaks. But again, it's funny you mentioned it because for the second year in a row, Eddie Richley's been on teams that really struggled offensively to muster up any runs. And I don't think he had his typical year with his on-base percentage and things like that. So,
I don't know the numbers offhand, but I mean, the year, I don't think he had his great year. I'm hearing rumors that he may be hanging it up after this year, off this 4-12 campaign. The players we're hearing about are not the older shortstops like Morris and Eddie and Hank. Hank's having a decent year, but you're not hearing those names. You're hearing Sam Nishon is having an MVP year. These other types of guys, not those guys that we're hearing about for 10, 12 years that have been dominating the league.
That's the way it should be, actually.
It definitely should be.
The league has become, except for maybe Nathan Towle, I don't think anybody's can play outfield in the league that's not in their 20s anymore.
I know.
How many outfielders are, like in the 35 and up? I don't think that many.
There's Sonny Shallow, there's Nathan.
Yeah.
And that's basically all I could think of offhand.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you have outfielders average age is 23, 24. So
yeah.
It's,
Franco's up there.
Not Franco, but he's like a rare.
He's a rare. He's got those deer legs.
And by the way, Franco playing unbelievable. He made a full extension catch the other day, and unbelievably.
Well, when we get to their game, we'll note that he also had 6 or 7 hits this week, which we said in the beginning of the year when he started 0 for 7, and then he had that walk off. We said it's going to take some time, but before the playoffs, this guy's going to start clicking. A.B. Saka is going to start humming. That team's looking good right now also. But
yeah, very strong. So the first game, I caught that watching part of that game with the Royals and the Turtles, and Max Yedida, by the way, when the ERA title.
Really?
Yeah, the ERA 2.75 in the year. But the Turtles have finally exploded offensively without Eddie Richley, as you mentioned, and maybe they liked Roselle, the new location.
Maybe they liked Roselle. Maybe they liked Jaime at short. Maybe they were just so relaxed and they could just play a fun game on a Sunday. There was no sprint match, no anything.
Pickup game almost, but they exploded. They won the first game, I believe 10-7 or 10 like that.
10-6 or something like that. They took a big lead early.
Yeah, big lead. It got a little heated, as you would expect. Mikey, Maurice, a lot of back and forth bantering, but they won that game, and but the Royals bounced back to win the second game and earned the split. But as we mentioned, the Royals, even if they had swept, I don't think they would have gotten the bye. They had to sweep to have a chance at the bye, and they didn't do that. They lost a big game in that game 1. In retrospect, after everything happened, when it's all said and done, even if they swept, they would not have gotten by, but they didn't know that. Yeah, they didn't know that time, but it turned out to be meaningless. But anyway, hats off to the Turtles for playing hard till the very end.
Right, and now it didn't turn out to be so meaningless because if they were 10-6, they would have the tiebreak over MMT for the 3 seed. They would be able to pick their opponent.
Maurice did not want to pick the opponent because he knows people don't like him to begin with. So now if he says they're picking them, he doesn't want to have that on. So.
Okay, fine. So if he didn't want to pick, he didn't want to pick. But there's last lick implications. There's things like that. There's still seeding. I'm not sure how the exact seeding went. I guess Maurice is 9 and 7. He's the 4.
Yeah, Maurice. Max is the Magical Mysteries 3, Royals 4, and
Whiplash
is 5, and 6 is to be determined.
So Whiplash and the Royals both ended 9 and 7.
Yes.
Okay, but Royals on the 4.
Yeah, Royals got the tiebreaker.
So they're the tiebreaker. So if they play each other, like I think they will, Royals will be the home team in game 1.
Well, he has a choice. Maurice, of course, got to make things complicated.
Yeah.
He wants to know if he could take 2 and 3 instead of 1.
So what's the rule?
We'll figure it out as we go.
Right. I believe the rule is he has choice in games 1 and games 3. I think he has a choice.
If he wants to defer, could he get it 2 and 3?
I don't think so. You're gonna have to look at that. Right.
About that, but. So that was that series. Now let's shoot over to another new field, which is Logan Road. And by the way, we got to say, Max Sutton got this field in playing condition, tip-top shape. It was a disaster at 6:30 in the morning. And
I just love the old school fields, the Deal School, and then Logan Road is like the best field there is. I love that place.
Oh, yeah.
The playground right on top of the field. It's good to see new ballparks. YMSL sponsoring the reopening of some of these vintage ballparks.
Some classic games over the years in some of these fields. But so this was a classic matchup. You had who was at the time the first and second place team. Actually, they were tied for first, right? So going into this week, so you had a Magical Mystery Tour versus Leonard Skinner, and to no surprise to anybody, unbelievable pitching and defense, incredible defense on both teams.
Really?
And pitching. What else would you expect with A.D. and Jeffrey going at it? The first game was a 3-1 victory for the Turtles for Magical Mystery in 9 innings.
Now the funny thing is, the Skinner team was the home team in game 1. They had licks. I think they have 5 walk-off wins this year.
Yeah.
So once this game got to the bottom of the 7th, bottom of the 8th, bottom of the 9th, you had to think they were going to somehow walk off. But sure enough, it was the top of the 9th that Magical Mystery came through and pushed 2 runs across the board.
Max Sutton with a big hit over in
Charles Sacker, he's saying, had a big day.
Oh, he did. And by the way, Charles Sacker, for brilliant defense, also he played amazing third base this week.
Bottom line is, A.B. Sacker, we all know the story. He missed the first 4 games. They managed to go 2-2 in those 4 games, which was huge for them. That's huge to stay at 500 through the first 2 weeks, and then you get your big gun back. And it definitely took him around a month. It took him maybe 2 weeks, let's say, to get back into the groove of things. And then boom, that team is very, very hot right now. They split this week, but they won 4 in a row before this.
Yeah.
So they won 5 of 6 going into the playoffs to take the 2 seed and get the bye.
Yeah, I think both teams are going very, very strong. Even Magical Mystery Tour, even though they slipped for a little bit. Now I think they're coming in. They won the Friday makeup game. Jeffrey pitched a shutout. I believe his 4th shutout of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazing what he's doing this year.
And really, they're getting contributions from every single guy on that roster. So
well, part of pitching a shutout is having a defense, and Max is making every play at short. And that outfield, we've spoken about it for hours already on this broadcast here. How quick and good that outfield is, especially in center and left field. Right field, they're still sharing time between Elliott Sacker and Steven Safdie, with the other one playing first. Sometimes Labo plays first. But bottom line is,
I think the rest of the way goes to Elliott Sacker there, I believe.
In right field, right? That's what I think. And Steven will move to first, and I guess either
DH. Short center, he made a great catch Friday to end the game over the shoulder. He made his catch, went out. So they're set all around, and
but they did stumble, like you mentioned. They were 7-2. This team, and doing the show in your basement and saying that in the YMSL studio, pre-renovation, and saying that this team has a clear path to a bye. They were 7-2, and they only ended 10-6. So that means they only went 3-4 in their last 7, which is not great. You know,
yeah, they got clobbered by the Royals.
They got clobbered by the Royals. They definitely fear the Royals, and they did not get the bye, the coveted bye. So they can have a tough matchup no matter who they play now.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen. They will announce shortly who they picked. But
the anticipation is driving me crazy, buddy.
So that was over there, Lois. So two great games. Both teams split, which was no surprise. Two low-scoring, well-pitched games. Great defense, which probably we're going to see the rest of the way in the playoffs from everybody that's still alive in the playoffs.
Well, I can tell you that my team has a phenomenal defense. Skinner has a great defense. MMT has a great defense. So yeah, the teams atop the standings all are very, very sound defensively.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of 4-2, 3-1. You don't really see 10-7 games in the playoffs.
Not usually.
So.
Although last year, with the Untouchables run, you saw some of those games. They were involved in some. The Angels, not the Angels. What was Michon's team last year? They also got to the World Series.
The Cardinals.
The Cardinals. And they were involved in a lot of high-scoring games on their run also. So last year was unique like that. But like you said, 9 out of 10 times.
Well, there was a crazy comeback last year.
Yes, the Untouchables against Jeffrey Sack were down
6-7 or 5.
No, they were down. They were down 4-0 in the first inning off of the Abraham Haber grand slam for Jeffrey Sack's team in a decisive Game 3 on Fireman's East. Fast forward to the 6th inning, it was, I believe, 7-3, still a 4-run lead. They cut it to 7-5, and then they took the lead 8-7. I think that's the way the game went in the 7th inning. The rest is history. They went on to win the World Series 3 out of 4 games. So, that was a high-scoring game. But like you said, 9 out of 10 times you get into 3-1 games here in the postseason.
Yeah, all experienced pitchers going, and so it's definitely going to be hard to score. The runs are going to be at a premium. Let's shoot over to Fireman's West, and
I was shocked that there was a game on Fireman's West.
I was going to tell you, amazingly enough, it was not so bad. Once again, the grounds crew did a great job getting into playing shape with the help of Savon. Cleaned out his garage, brought some equipment.
Good for him.
And Ralph Hannon, who worked diligently before these 2 games. So that this was a huge matchup. Huge. Basically, coming in, we knew both teams coming in at 7-7, the way the standings were, it was probably going to be for the final playoff spot. Obviously, one team swept, they'd get in. Split the way it went, ended it. They split, they both would have got in also. So, and we talked about the Angels splitting all 7 weeks coming into this game.
Hard to do, the split. Although I did predict that Whiplash would finally sweep them this week.
Yes, you did.
It's too dangerous to split the entire time.
Yes, you did. We did not lose the tapes on that.
Right, good. And I also predicted that the Turtles would take a game from the Royals. You may have also, I don't remember.
Yeah, I definitely did.
We'll check the tapes. But something about this matchup, I have to tell you that Ralph Hannon was the difference here. And sure enough, he was.
Yeah, and the Angels suffered a major blow in the second inning. Gamal hit a shot and slid into second and tore his hamstring partial tear. So he's hobbled the rest of the way, tried to hit, but he's done now for the rest of the year.
Is he out for the year?
Yeah.
Is that official?
Yeah, he's out.
So he can't even hit? He can't.
All right, today he said it's a big risk.
Very painful also,
yeah.
a tear. That is a huge blow for the Angels.
Wow. For them, major bat, major leader on the team. So they have to pick up the pieces and try to
Sam
get
Michon is having a phenomenal year, but that's in part because Gamal is right
Yeah.
there also. And Eddie Michon's whole master plan here was to get the best lineup possible. When we drafted in this very same room a few months back, he was just getting power hitter after power hitter, and this is a big blow to that team.
It's going to be interesting to see who they plug in there. Who's the other option they had? I believe what he had told me is move Eliezer to the outfield.
No.
Yeah, and put Mark Rawhide short, which is you know, if there's a lot of action in the outfield, it's not a bad move. But who's the other option they had? You could put Beavis in right, but you know.
I don't know if I would move Eliezer at short, but I don't know the team. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Eliezer's not playing great at short. Maybe
No, he's playing great at short. I think there's a lot more. He's going to put Wasser at.
Wasser could play
center.
the outfield.
I don't know. He's going to put him short center and move out. And move. Braun certainly carries great at short, no question.
I know, but why do you want to move all those pieces around?
Well, you know, also, if there's a lot of. Listen, they got major pitching issues, and I don't know how many grounders are going to be hit the short.
I hear you.
So there could be a lot of missiles out there once they have the best team that you know you can possibly put. Again, we talked about this team day one, and they're going to go as far as the pitching takes them. And you know, it goes to show you, it doesn't matter how many bats you have, you're not going to win without some sort of pitching and defense. And Moses, for whatever it was, did not have it again once again. So you know.
Well, now that it's stuck with a decision, they have Moses, they have Bawabe.
Yeah.
They also have Nemi Katz. If they and you know, if they win this game, you're talking triple header on Sunday that they're gonna have to play. If they win, if they're fortunate enough to win the play-in game against who cares, which we're not up to that segment yet, but they have to plan that they may have 3 ball games. So you know,
Yeah.
they have to figure.
Well, the beauty about this whole situation, it's not a Jeffrey Saka situation where he's the only pitcher on the team and he's got to miss 3 games.
Right.
I mean, so the negative side, that none of them are good. So it's like,
Right, but you're right. It's a positive spin on it that
Yeah,
each guy can pitch a game.
Yeah, 1 game here, 1 game there. But, however, it's been announced through the PR department for the Michon's team that Nemi's getting the ball this week.
Really?
Yes.
Now, would this be Nemi's first start of the year?
Yes.
And they
For sure, for his first start.
Okay, so they're going to start Nemi on the mound and John Eliezer in the outfield, both for the first time this year in this play-in game.
Now, I believe, I don't know if Eliezer was etched, there was talking about it, which, you know, the pitching situation, maybe it's more important to have a very strong outfield, which I can understand. I think now they're going to put Bawabe at first and Wasser at short center, whatever, and then be pitched. Not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I mean,
I think I like the move of Nemi, to tell you the truth.
I thought he should have done it weeks ago. Honestly, when Bawabe was struggling,
Yeah.
we should say Mabruk to Jack Bawabe,
Mabruk.
baby boy, this past weekend. So I think you should have. I think it's. He was struggling immensely with the control, and Moses was injured, and who knows what else. And so I think it's the right move. Listen, you got to give the guy a shot.
I guess so. I guess, you know, you're 7-9 where you are. It's you know, it's not like you did great with either of the other options. You had a losing record in total, and you were 500 all year, so that's good, but it's not, you know, what you want to be if you want to win a championship.
No.
Michon's a year away from being in the World Series, so, you know, he clearly knows, and he's a veteran enough to know when you got to shake it up. We have to give credit to Saban's team, who finally played, I think, with a full strength, with full 12, but all year playing shorthanded, and not just missing random guys, missing a shortstop, missing their pitcher for parts of a game, missing 2 outfielders for a couple of weeks, and managing to stay competitive, stay afloat, up, down, whatever, but they were always right there, and they put themselves in a position at 9-7, you know, to be in the playoffs ready to go. They have to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. And we thought they have a lot of talent. They're, you know, great pitcher. But now it's a time, I feel, Ralph Hannon's got to establish himself as a bona fide pitcher that can lead a team to a championship. He's got a great team behind him.
Yeah.
So really, there's no excuses at this point.
He definitely has a history of pitching well in the regular season, and then playoffs sort of coming unwound a little bit. So you're saying now's the time for him to prove
I
himself.
think he's got a great opportunity. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's going up against a great team. You know, we'll talk about it now. You know, every series is tough, so it's not going to be easy. But he's got to be able to shut down teams. And but a lot of those guys on that team really got to show that they're playoff performers.
Yeah.
Saban, Barca. You know, they got to show that they can really lead a team to the next level.
You're right. Barca did not have a good postseason last year. He was injured for the Astros a little bit. He didn't show up. He was sick or something. There was all story with that. Saban Has he been good in the postseason? I know he has a ring, but he's been playing for 25 years. Or
Well, he had one ring in 25 years with Mo Shamus' team, I believe. So, you know.
I remember that. I remember when he got it. It was on Memorial 1, I think. They won the World Series there and saved up crazy.
You know, he's definitely.
But Ralph Hannon's the big question mark there. Like Billy Miz is new to the league.
Yeah.
They have a couple of question marks for the postseason. But all in all, they all play their game. Like some excel and some play around the same. It's all going to come down to Ralph Hannon in the postseason, and his numbers in the postseason are not pretty.
Yeah, and I have not been great. So, but neither is Kershaw. So he's got the.
He's in good company.
So we mentioned the Angels, their situation. So really, they took the two. Let's mention Speed Goldberg. This is YMSL Player of the Week this week. I believe he had 5 RBIs. 50-year-old Speed Goldberg with the YMSL Player.
Wow.
One thing about him, he is a great hitter. Always has been.
Yeah, he knows how to hit. That's the bottom line.
Playing very good short center field also.
He's also a good guy to plug into other positions, although when he had to come into pitch that day, it didn't work out too well.
Well, listen, it's very hard to pitch when Saban's chirping you're 22. I like to see anybody perform in those conditions. But
with all the guys they missed this year, like we were just talking about, Svi has moved around to almost every position. Yeah. I think he played short 1 week also. Hank wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, he's a key part of that team.
Oh, no, it's definitely a key part. And, they're going to be all full squad. They're going to be a tough team to beat. Honestly, one of 5 that could really win a championship.
Right.
So let's talk about the playing game now. So we got the Angels versus Who Cares scheduled for early Sunday morning.
Now, both teams extremely fortunate that there's a playing game because if either team got a game on Sunday, the other team would have been eliminated. Right. So they're both lucky that they both got swept and have a chance to play. So when you say early Sunday, how early are we talking?
There's an 8:30 start.
Okay.
At 5 West.
Okay.
So now we don't know who's getting the ball. I'm assuming Celine for the Who Cares. But the question mark now is the Angels also Albert Kamal. So everybody's going to have to pick up the pieces and sort of.
And the rules dictate that they do not get a replacement for Albert Kamal down for the year. Okay, so they just lose him. Okay, so if he could somehow. If his postseason goes a little long for them, he could potentially come back for them also.
Listen, bases loaded, 1 out, you need a single, maybe.
Or a fly ball. Maybe tell him just hit the ball.
He just swing with his eyes closed, I guess. So it's not a.
They could even not slot him and just keep him as a little weapon on the side and pinch hit him whenever they want.
Style.
Exactly. That would be extremely unique. If you saw him coming up in a big spot, that would be great.
Yeah, to be the Maurice Haber team, that would be like.
Even to win this playing game, anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can do that. Honestly, it really, it can still hit. There's no question about it. I don't think it really hurts him to swing. It's just once he swings, he's got to find a way to get to first. This is an ugly game, really, honestly. But as they say, somebody has to win, So.
Do you give either of these teams a chance to win this game and somehow catch fire and make a little run here?
Well, let's put it this way. Max Sutton, captain of Magic Mystery, wasted no time in selecting the winner of this game as his first round opponent.
Okay.
Usually people like to see, let's see
right. Let's see if they look good.
He told me the overwhelming response was take the winner of this game. So clearly, nobody has high expectations for either one of these teams.
Okay.
And to answer your question, no, I don't believe so. Yeah. Which would basically be winning 2 out of. They win 2 out of 3 on Sunday, and I don't even know who's going to win this game. Honestly, if I had to pick, there's so many issues. Nevy hasn't pitched all year, and all of a sudden he's getting the ball. The defense is. The guys playing different positions now, but I don't know. I don't know. I would have to give a slight edge to the Angels, maybe because the offense is a little better, but I would, either way, it's not going to surprise me if they lose.
I sort of like the move of going to Demi. I hope he's warming up during the week, and I hope he's sharp because I'd like to see him do well in this spot. The Angels lineup, even without Demal, I think is stronger. Neither team has a pitcher that's going to dominate anybody. I don't know if Mavor is going to pitch or Salim. I'm not sure. They both pitched, pretty much equal this past week. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. And maybe if Mavor is pitching, it gives them a better field with Salim going to third, and then you move Solly to second. It's a ripple effect if he could pitch. But the Angels, even without Demal, they have Sam Nishon having an MVP year. They have John Eliezer, World Series last year. Nishon, World Series last year. Lewis. They have these guys that just hit all day long. Wasser can hit. I mean, look at their roster. They have a bunch of guys that just can hit. And I see Angels are going to win this game. I think Angels are going to win.
Which would find a way. I bet this will be a classic story. Moses comes in the seventh to get a save in a big situation.
You know what? Like we said, if they win, they have three guys that can pitch on the team. Which the old thing is, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. So if you have three pitchers, you really have no pitcher. But Mishon, this is do or die. He's got to play it like, if Nemi starts walking people, you got to guarantee himself he has a quick hook this week.
Right. Oh, for sure.
So he doesn't owe any of them anything. They're 7-9, and they got to get one win. On the other hand, the Who Cares team, would they make a mid-game switch at pitcher if one of them starts and the other one comes in? That would be interesting. I think you got to pull out all the stops.
Oh, for sure. But what do you, at that point, you're probably losing already. It's probably like, what I'm disappointed in Who Cares, I see a lot of defense has not been good at all.
And it's odd because they have a lot of talent on the team. A lot of talent. They have Erwin Cohen in center. He misplayed a fly ball this week, but last year we saw how good he was. They have Solly S. and he played left. Ezra Tabelli was in right. These guys are capable. And then in the infield, Jordy is having a rough year defensively. We spoke about the third base platoon between Salim and Solly. They have guys that can field, and there's no reason they should be this sloppy. In the makeup game, Jordy had a terrible game that Friday. That was more of an aberration than the norm.
Right.
That was a real struggle. But overall, this team has never gotten together.
And then the other 25-time Gold Glove winner, Sammy Talbot, dropped the regular throw first the other day. It's just amazing.
It's amazing this team is 7-4.
Like if you're gonna have pitching woes, you gotta have great defense. So,
yes.
If you're gonna have none of those, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how either this team's gonna go anywhere.
Okay, so I think we're going with the Angels.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
But not shocking if they somehow lose either. Nemi could just have nothing, and they, any of these teams get down 4-5, it's probably over.
No, you got to have a quicker hook in a one-game playing game. You can't go down 4 and have the same guy on the mound.
Yeah, but who's the hook? Who are you gonna hook him with?
You hook him with the next guy who's the same thing, but maybe that day he has something. Maybe Moses that day brings something. You can't go down 5-6-0 here. Either of the teams.
Right. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, it should be good. The way the season went, no surprise there is a playing game.
So that's 8:30 at Fineman's West.
Yeah.
Okay. Breakfast at Wimbledon.
Yes. So basically, as we mentioned, Magic and Mystery 2 is going to wait the winner of that game. And then, so now the Royals, the 3 seed, or the 4 seed, are playing Whiplash.
Good matchup.
Great matchup.
Yeah.
Really, really good matchup. They have Max Chadin and Ralph Manning, a couple of big veteran pitchers.
They split during the year, these two teams.
Yeah. And the two very good offenses, good defense. I don't even know how the series is going. This is going to be a tough series. And I can't believe it doesn't go 3 games.
Here's the thing with the Royals, and why a lot of people fear and respect the Royals, is that almost anyone that's played them beat them in a tight game and then got blown away in one order or another, which is why they scored 1,000 runs and gave up 12, and they're only 9-7. So they have this crazy. People don't love to look at run differential, but bottom line is they scored a lot of runs and they gave up a little. So you can look at it both ways. Does that mean they can't win close games and that they have something in them that when the game is tight and close late, that they can't mentally get over the hump? Or does it mean that really they could easily be 12-4 this year and they're the best team in the league, and for whatever reason it didn't happen? So I mean, it's very tough to judge.
But at the same time, as we mentioned, every game in the playoffs is going to be low scoring, so you have to figure out a way to win close games and stay cool under pressure. And but Max GD showed me a lot second last year when he carried his team.
He definitely took that step last year that you're asking Hannon to take this year. You know, he definitely became that young pitcher that was good, but can he succeed in the postseason? And last year he did. You know, but there's something about this Whiplash team that just the fact that they were strong enough to win shorthanded, win with 9 players, they have a grit to them. There's something there that I think they're gonna be able to break through. And I know that's not the popular opinion. I know a lot of people are saying the Royals are gonna sweep them.
I don't know. I think it's an unbelievably close matchup. I don't know why anybody was saying
that. You have the run differential, you have the run cannon factor. Also,
you know, you have guys. You know, you got guys that's going to show. They got to be playoff performers too. You know, Malak's got to, you know, show that he's can perform in the playoffs. You already know Nathan. These guys, it's not going to phase them. I mean, you know, you got young guys, Jackie Haber. These guys got to step. It's a whole different game now. So it's you know, you expect Max to continue pitching the way he did, but I think it's going to go to distance. I'm going to really say split this week. I don't know whether, you know, we'll figure out game 3 next week, but I love
matchup. You want to say who you think is going to win the series? Maybe that game 3 will be on Friday. You never know. And
it has to be on Friday next week.
Okay.
There's no games on the following.
Oh, right. So then.
Yeah. So. What do I think is going to win the series? Or I have to get the edge. I say the Royals.
Right. So most people I've spoken to believe that the Royals are going to win. I sort of think that better team.
Like, do you think like
a lot of people are telling me sweet. I think Whiplash is going to win in 3.
Oh yes.
I think they're going to win in 3. It's just a hunch. I don't know why. I actually think the Royals are the better team, and if they played a 5-game series or a 7-game series, that the Royals would end up winning. But you know, that's the danger of the first round, and that's the beauty of the bye. It's such a short series that, you know, you slip up a little bit, the other team can take it from you.
Yeah, no, that's why, you know, you get a hot pitcher. It doesn't matter how weak your team is. You could carry you to the next round. So I'm looking forward to that series. I think that's going to be a good series. And I don't give the winner of the Angels, who cares, any sort of shot against Man.
Right.
I really don't. I would, if Zach could pitch 2 shutouts, I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow. Now the Angels, I would say, have a shot. Now, I'm not going to pick them to win the series.
I would if they had a full team. Like now, you know, I don't even know now who's going to pitch, and it's just, you know, if you had Jackie Bawabe last year with this team, I think he would have taken them all the way because this is a better team probably than that untouchable team, right?
It's hard to say. Yeah, Untouchables, yeah. Bawabe was the Untouchables last year. I mean, and they won it all with him.
That was Joe Cheer's team.
A couple of years ago?
That was started off 8-0.
The Pirates?
No, he started off 8-0. Then they thought he was the best team. We're going to go undefeated.
Oh my God! Yes. No, it was before the Untouchables.
No, I know. I thought
before the Pirates. It was. I forgot what it was. Was it the Unknowns?
Oh, the Unknowns. You're right.
Was it that? They were 8-0.
Yeah, they started 8-0. I thought it was the first undefeated team.
Yes.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, Bawabe for whatever reason is not confident this year, so you can't even, you know, unless he gets it back in an instant, you can't even look at him as an option. And Moses, who knows? I mean, you know, so it's I don't give him any shot to get in the next round.
Right. No, I mean, I think Max's team, the Magical Mystery Tour, is better than both these teams, obviously and clearly. If either team could give them a fight, I would say it's the Angels.
Oh, for sure.
Because of their offense, even without Gamal, you know, if they could they've done it so many times this year. If they put up 4 or 5 runs in an inning, Magical Mystery is not scoring that many runs so easily. Their offense is not that great, even though
they could explode. You're right. They could explode 8-9 run. Like we saw it the other last week.
Yeah.
They scored. It was 8-0 in the second, and then they somehow didn't show up for game 2. It's just.
But either way, I'm with you. I think Magical Mystery goes to the next round. And then we get Skinnerd and the Peaches back in play. So.
And then you have to make a decision.
Yes.
Being the first seed, so we have some targets on your head there.
Yes, I would love to pick the 18, but apparently that's not available. So we'll see who survives, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that definitely should be exciting. So they're gonna have a makeshift schedule now. It's a couple of Sundays not available, so July 3rd could be a big weekend for softball, a big day, and we'll see what happens. But it gets exciting. First we got to get that playing game and see who the 16s are. But
so let me ask you. So let's say we play 2 games in each series this Sunday. Hopefully the weather is good and we get the games in. It could be 2 sweeps. Then would you start the next series that Friday?
100%.
And if not, then you get the game 3s on Friday.
But that's a problem because we only play 1 game. Though I'd love to start the series at 5 o'clock that day, the next round.
Well, you don't have to only play 1 game. You could play 5 East and West.
No. But.
Oh, I see. You can only play 1 game each.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's.
But it's okay because then.
But we could get a big crowd. We could play 2 morning games that day, and then start the next series in the afternoon.
I think so.
Right, and then.
You can play with it. You'll see. You'll make sure.
Friday is just a key day.
That day is a good day. I remember a couple of years ago we had July 4th. It was on a Thursday. You had a couple of games. You had 1 game in the morning and 1 game in the afternoon.
Left out.
Yeah.
It was a big crowd also. So Norman, it was very exciting. Probably we talked about it. Probably the best regular season in many years in the YMSL.
Amazing how many teams were in first place this year and second place this year. Like almost every team. Just so tight. And so hard to pick a team because every team is so similar.
Yeah. Really, it's we're probably gonna get all these picks wrong anyway, but it's.
We pride ourselves on that.
I mean, listen, at the end of the year, a few weeks, who cares? It's standing the trophy.
That would be a shock. That would be a shock. But good job by, like you said, the grounds crew. Good job by you getting those games in because everybody was looking at forecasts saying 100% chance of rain. And it would not be fun if we were still waiting for the regular season to end right now, waiting for this Sunday. It's good that we're in the postseason. This is when champions are made, memories are made, legends are made right now, the postseason.
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful day Sunday, and we basically went through the whole season without a rain out, so hopefully it continues now in the postseason. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week, the YMSL DSN Studios, and special guest that we should have next week come playoff time. So very exciting. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing everybody.